lasts a little longer.
And because right after Monster Flick is the Poison Oak Challenge. I love that fucking tournament. And it's crazy. So if you're listening to this, you've never played it, there's literally Poison Oak on every single tee box, fairway, and green. It's so cool. And the object of the game is to avoid it.
Yeah.
One dude died one time.
So my secret is that I start eating poison oak, like just a little bit, right?
Right.
Like for like a couple months in advance.
Make like some pesto.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to put on your greens on your salad.
It's really good with garlic. You just mix a little...
dude, garlic goes great with anything. You could pick
poison pesto is what I like to call it.
You could pick up a piece of dried white dog shit and add garlic to it, and it's delicious.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garlic's great. So anyway,
it hurts my teeth, though, so I don't do that. But I tried that.
Oh, the crunchy white dog shit?
Yeah, it's not very good.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I just figure I've never tasted it without the garlic. So I'm not familiar with what it tastes like without garlic.
It mostly just tastes like garlic, honestly.
So poison oak and garlic, you just chew on it. Sometimes you just
But you eat the poison oak. That's the whole point, is, for in advance. So then when you do finally come in contact with all the poison oak, you get less poison oak than everyone else.
Oh. Yeah, because there was a guy like convulsing last year. He got hauled off on a stretcher.
It's a 2-week long tournament too, so it takes like a week before a lot of people's poison oak even kicks in.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's 2 weeks when they sign up for it. And they're like, why does this tournament cost $3,000?
Yeah, it's rugged.
They don't really understand.
Rugged.
Yeah, you're going to be in the outback. This course, there's bears, cougars. It's 2 weeks of outback disc golf that's all poison oak the whole time.
There's a lot of cougars around there.
There are a lot of cougars. And I love the cougar traps that are set up intentionally as hazards. I think they work well. They're great. I mean, they keep players playing at the top of their game.
They have bloody badger traps there too.
Really old, rusted, bloody badger traps.
Well, because all the badgers are gone. They killed them all a long time ago.
Yeah, I heard if you qualify, you get to go to a Nigerian minefield course.
Oh man, I heard about that place.
Oh, it's so
yeah. They're
rad.
gonna hold worlds there next year.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, and at least 12 to 18 players are blown up.
I know,
and that's why people like to watch it. It's very entertaining.
There's a lot of they take all of the money that they would add to the tournament. You know how they have to add a certain amount of money to the tournament?
Oh, yeah.
And then they use it to buy people prosthetics that get blown up.
Oh, first place gets a free robotic leg.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, I got to get in on that tournament. That sounds so much better than the Poison Oak Challenge.
It's the same thing, only with bombs.
Right. You got the bombs. I mean, I've heard if you fucking spike out a Sexton Firebird just right, and there's enough pressure, you can actually just set the bombs off, the mines off.
That's
you lose your Firebird.
Well, okay. So
but you get a clear fairway.
The best thing to do is play a doubles tournament at those things, and then you have a chance of like surviving, because you could get your partner tries to clear the path up to the basket, maybe with like a skip shot or something.
Ooh, he's setting them off with a roller.
Totally.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good idea.
And you go straight down the gut. Just don't fade out too quick.
Maybe I'd have 2 legs if I would have thought about that last time I was out there.
These are some great tournaments, and if you're listening to this, you're missing out, because those are some of the better tournaments that are going on this weekend.
The Nigerian Open. Dude, the Floridian Gazette has talked about this every year since the inception.
I don't think
Conception.
I don't think our listeners read the Floridian Gazette. I mean, I've told them to, but I don't think they listen.
It's the best piece of journalism out there.
It is.
They won a Pulitzer Prize one time, dude.
They did win a Pulitzer.
It's a Pulitzer.
Puke?
Yeah.
Oh. Years ago about useless directions. So like
The ones that go, yeah, people give you bad directions that just
not just bad directions, but useless directions. So you'd be like, I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and the guy would be like, oh yeah. So you're gonna go 5 blocks down the road
until you get to the second chicken.
Right. And then he's like, then just keep going straight.
And then you keep going.
Then you're going to see a McDonald's. And you're like, okay. And it's going to be on the right.
Going.
So you just keep going after the McDonald's. Yeah. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, why are you telling me this shit?
You see a pothole on the right. Okay, well, keep going.
Yes, exactly. So what's so fucked up about that is it gets in your head, and then you're on the route, and you see these landmarks, and you think you need to do something. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But they're fucking useless.
You're like, wait. It says right here that look for the giant pumpkin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all it says.
Keep going.
And then just keep going. But if they wrote it down, that's great. You got something to work with. I'm talking about like those farmers who would give you directions like that, and they'd be like, there's an old Grange down the road, man. My grandpappy used to hang out there, and he gives you this story and all this backstory, and you're like losing track of what he's saying. My point is, it gets in your head. You drive down that road, you see that Grange, you're like, I need to do something. Do I turn right? Next thing you know, you are like you last week, lost in the fucking mountains.
Go 3 miles until you see the retarded horse, and then keep going. Yeah, I know how farmers roll.
When you get down to the bottom of the gully, there's going to be an old bloody badger trap on the left.
Well, that means you're not there yet.
Yeah, then you just keep on going. Oh, man. Oh, that was fun. So, so this weekend, going to the Oak Grove Open.
Speaking of bloody badger traps.
Speaking of bloody badger traps, we're going to be playing the Oak Grove Open this weekend, disc golf tournament. James is going to take first place in his division, which is
old farts.
No, I thought it was
medium old farts.
I thought it was mega old
legend grandmaster champion. Yeah, I'm gonna play in Masters.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not quite as Chester's.
Not quite.
It's
no.
Not. What is the division? Can you recall off the top of your head? Because I can't. Super old, legend, mega grandmaster.
Yeah,
something like that.
I just remember the mega old.
So I'm gonna go through.
That's the most important part because I mean, he's the only one in his division, and most times he plays. He meaning me.
And I remember the interview really well because he ate pork rinds every day for a year when he was 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he hated the hairy ones.
That's the best one. I mean, the worst ones.
Wait a minute. You got a thing for these?
There's a Freudian slip.
So the first Oak Grove Open I ever played, I'll never forget it. I took an 8 triple P. You ever done one of those?
Maybe.
So they haven't done this at this event since this one I went to. And it was the first one. And there was this basket on what's now is the par 4 that's before the longest par 4 on the course.
So did you say that this is Shampooey Park?
Yeah, I did.
You said the Oak Grove Open.
I said Shampooey. I said so fast, dude. You couldn't keep up with me. I'm like super fast radio voice. Said Shampooey so fast you couldn't barely hear it.
It may lead to anal lesions and leakage.
Well, we're sponsored by a whole bunch of ointments.
So. Oh, that is one. Okay, bring this up later because I have a funny. You asked if I wanted to talk about that next gen event.
Yeah,
and I have something about ointment.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. About awkward ointments and next gen. Okay. So that first Oak Grove Open, he had like this basket with OB line that just hugged the basically the base of it.
Yeah.
So I was on a I'm going to say this dude's name. I was on a card with Jesse Tomeno. I don't know how to say his last name. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a dick. So. Really nice guy. And this is where I met the dude. I was on a card with him. And he was with me. He witnessed what happened to me. And basically, I threw OB from the tee, and I tried to get out of the OB. That ditch on the right of that par 4. God, I wish I could name the hole. Do you know what hole I'm talking about?
I definitely do.
Yeah, it's the tight wooded par 4 that comes after the other par 4 that goes through the creek and up to the field, right?
Yeah.
And there's a net guarding the tee box now. So this was years ago, and the pin placement was on the right. I throw OB off the tee, which is the ditch, rope OB all on the ditch.
Oh, no.
Yeah, only year they did that. That's what I'm saying. So I go OB.
I didn't play it that year.
I got aggressive because I just wanted to get to the green. I was new to the sport, and I went OB again. So I threw up from that OB under the basket and chained out my putt, and my putt went OB. Somebody said, and I don't know who it was, but they said, man, that's just mean. But anyway,
Sure.
those are my memories of that first one. The second one, I don't remember at all. No, that's the one where Cam went with us, and it was 105 degrees. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. That was fun.
That was hot. That was really hot. And that was when we played 21 at the campsite. Everybody camped out that year.
Oh, yeah.
Camping was pretty hopping that year.
Yeah, we actually got the putting games going, and people played.
And you won.
I've played at so many tournaments where there's people camping and you can't get a good game going.
Of 21?
Or anything.
Oh, okay.
So it was just cool. It was cool. After hours, little putt off.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I had a blast that time. And then, let's see. So the next year, God, dude, there's too many of them. Last year's the year where I got too drunk and had to botch my second round hungover. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think so.
Maybe.
We both shot that bad.
That was the first time I met all those guys. Like, we played golf with Burke. That was the only time I played with Burke. He's pretty cool dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like basically his event, right? Him and
yeah,
David Amon.
Yeah. That's right. So that was where we met Burke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he told me I could take a shower behind his RV the second night, and I was super stinky, and he may have regretted it because I got naked out there, and people probably saw that.
So
sorry, everybody.
You don't have to apologize. That's funny you fell for that. He always throws that one out there. So he has a camera right underneath.
Yeah, I've seen the online footage.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just so you know, that's he tells everybody they can shower there, and then he films it. He puts it on the internet.
He actually empties his septic tank into the shower system. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. So God, you know that?
Yeah. I don't know how he gets it hot. He must run the pee through the water heater so it comes out steaming.
Do you think that old bloody battered
frothing all over you?
Super foamy hot foamy
like Trump style.
Hot foamy froth. Just foaming ass hot froth, just spilling. Yeah, dudes.
Presidential shower, we'll call it that.
Do you think that Old Bloody Badger Trap's a good band name?
It is. That is really good.
All right. We should totally use that then. So why don't you tell me about your experience now at the before, can I just ask you one thing before you start?
Sure, please.
You were saying before that you got some gift certificates for like $10. That's what you won.
There was much more of that.
So there's a whole bunch of weird drama, but then you went back.
Yeah.
Why'd you go back?
Because the format was interesting and there was nothing else going on at the time. There was no other tournaments in the area. It's like they had some deal going on with the PDGA or something because it was the only tournament in our region for that weekend.
So did you play the BSF layout?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me your story.
I don't really have any great stories. I finished like 5th from last place in my division, and 3 of those people left the day before. So I'm living up to my cellar dweller name and Milo again.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'm okay with it though. It seems like all the holes that get me, I can go back later and I can pull it off for some reason, but that doesn't matter. What I wanted to say was, we have a lot of sponsors on this podcast. We've had Vagisil, and we've had Ben Gay, and we've had
Abreva.
We could go on and
Preparation
on.
H.
Totally. Monostat, I believe.
Vagisil. Yeah.
Yeah. I want some.
Do you remember that first?
Spider bite that had just started to heal, so it made my spider bite like flare up again.
Dude, that thing looked fucking gangrenous.
Yeah, it was a hobo spider, pretty sure.
What do you mean pretty sure? How did you end up with that shit?
Working, just walking through just old hay in an old building, and I felt something on my leg and I didn't think about it. And then about 4 days later, it looked like an ingrown hair. And about 4 days after that, I thought I was going to die.
Well, when you showed me that picture, it was terrifying. That would look like staph. That looked like a straight up gangrene fucking.
It wasn't. It was just the venom or whatever from the spider. Like it's
flesh eating fucking venom, dude.
It's got to run its course. It takes about. I got lucky.
Can't you get amputated and shit?
Yeah, but that's more like brown recluse. This was just a hobo spider, like a funnel web spider.
Apparently, from what I've confirmed,
it turned black.
From what I've confirmed, there are no brown recluses on the West Coast.
There is.
There are not.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't that.
We have.
Check it out. Looks much better now.
Oh yeah, it does. Looks way better. No, look this up sometime. It's really interesting. We actually don't have brown recluses here. We have hobo spiders.
We have hobo spiders, and we have
and they're the
wolf
same
spiders,
right? And they're the same like relative, but people confuse them. I just learned this recently. So, God, I want to ask you where you were.
I was in Doofer. I was out by Doofer.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was local, just right around here.
You were wearing shorts?
I was not. I was wearing like slacks type pants that were just kind of open on the bottom. The legs were kind of flowy and something.
You had a fucking hobo climb up your fucking pant leg.
Yeah. Oh, and I felt I'm like 90% sure that's what it was, because I felt something on me. And you know how it is. You're like, whatever, and you just brush it off and just move on. You can't feel a spider bite you.
Oh
generally,
yeah, yeah. You don't know it. He's the one you don't want to get bit by.
It took about 5 days to see the results, and then it took about 14 days total for it to heal.
Did you have to get on any kind of meds or anything?
When I went into the doctor, they put me on a pretty hardcore antibiotic. The doctor said he didn't think it was infected. He's like, that's just the venom, and it's got to run its course. So we don't know how long that's going to take, but it's screaming to be infected. So they put me on some sulfa something or other that made me feel all spun out. Huh. And I played that next gen event like it was the last day that I was taking that stuff, and I think it kind of affected me. I couldn't concentrate real well.
What was it?
I don't know, like an antibiotic with like some sort of upper in it or something.
Did you get any good shit?
I mean, some people would probably really like this stuff, honestly, but to me, it made me feel crazy. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. Glad that's over.
That's a fucking crazy, that's a crazy tale. You're the only dude I've ever known who's gotten straight up bit by one of those.
Yeah, I was a little worried for a minute there.
Okay, so last week, I had no ideas. You didn't show up, so I did the Mick the Ripper podcast. I'm not sure how well that stuff goes over with the listeners, because the response is kind of weird. So just anybody who listens to this podcast, I do the voice of Mick. Cheers, fuckface. Yeah, that's right. It's me. And James is Chester.
I'm not Chester.
Yeah, see. And I'm also the fingersmokediscs guy. A whole bunch. We do all the voices.
And then I also do my own voice.
That's good. That's really good. So, hey, I wanted to bring up something fucking hilarious. I have a Andrew Dice Clay quote right here. Women, you can't live with them. You can't fit more than 4 in a trunk at a time.
Yeah, he's amazing.
That's an actual line from
I believe it.
One of his movies. And he also says to the girl, he's all, I'll take you out later. I'll throw a cheeseburger down your throat, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he says some funny shit.
He's a sexist bastard. What did he do other than that one movie?
He just did stand-up.
He's a stand-up comic.
He's stand-up, but he was the first stand-up comedian that could, like, fill a stadium. He changed stand-up comedy because he could, like...
Wasn't his, like, punchlines, like, body shaming and shit?
Oh, yeah. He'd be like, and she's a fucking hoe. I mean, like, that, like...
I mean, I don't know. I don't actually know his content. I'm imagining that's what people tell me.
It was, like, just dark, mean, chauvinistic comedy.
I almost want to look him up now.
You should. Some of it's kind of funny, but it's not funny in the way that, like... it wouldn't be funny now, but if you're as old as we are and you can reflect upon things as what they were at the time, it's totally still funny.
Well, all right. Maybe I'll check it
But
out.
I'm not going to watch it with my 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah. So, fuck yeah. I'm not going to talk about fucking Ford Fairlane on this podcast.
Fucking... Yeah, I know. It's funny because his punchlines are so bad. It's like, Jack and Jill went up the hill, and then Jill sucked Jack's dick. You know what I mean? Like, it's like it doesn't really ever.
No, I know.
Get funnier.
No, you just reminded me of one. I know, and I just remember another one. He walks in, and there's like two dudes, and I can't remember what the movie was about, but I just remember he looked at him and he said, "Let me guess, Neil and Bob. Which one does what?"
Yeah,
same kind of shit, right? Yeah, that's great.
I was thinking of another, it was like a bad game reference.
Oh, this is good shit right here. Is golf mental or physical? Now, anybody who plays golf knows that it's both, but this isn't a how-to book. This is written 1986 by a dude named Chuck Hogan. I'm like, who the fuck is Chuck Hogan? I don't really care. I bought it at a used bookstore in Fort Lauderdale, and the book's called 5 Days to Golfing Excellence. But it has some really great mental game shit, like in the beginning of it, at least the first half of the book. So back to that question, is golf mental or physical? This is a part of this book that blew my fucking mind. And this is when I was learning golf. I had never even heard of disc golf at this point when I bought this book. So check it out. The name ear, for example, is a description of a physical feature and not a function. Here is a description of a mental function, but listening is in reality both mental and physical. It cannot occur without the cooperation of the mind and body. It's fucking beautiful. It illustrates the relationship between mind and body very well. That yes, your ear hears shit, but you listen. And together you take in information and process it to get what you're looking for. This is a really great book. Following that, this is another thing I love in this book. It says, don't do any mechanical function unless you understand why it works and why you are doing it. And that goes hand in hand with the physical and mental aspect. Meaning, yeah, you have to process this shit. Yes, you know that you need to come from the ground up to get a full pull, but you don't want to think about it when you go to throw. You want to process that information in the studio or the rehearsal space or the workshop. And then when you're out on the course, you just want to react to the target and just let your body react based on the training, based on the information that you received. You know, there's always that underdog out there too, right? The dude who has no idea why things are happening, and for some reason he's always right next to you. Oh, shut up, fucking stupid phone. They're always right next to you, right? You're like, well, how the fuck did this guy get down here? He got lucky, he like kicked a tree and fucking rolled, and he had so much power on it that it like made its way to the shot you threw, which was like a 1 in a million turnover shot, you know? But never let that shit discourage you. The underdog, if anything, should inspire you and push you to keep playing your game better, knowing that some guy next to you could just take you out with luck. You know, because that shit can happen. What's up? My name's Nick. NIck Orr, actually. expired PDGA number 63555. This is Cellar Dwellers podcast number 18. The reason I was opening up with some golf stuff is because I'm going to be talking golf in this episode. This podcast, originally, the Cellar Dwellers podcast, was intended to be a disc golf podcast. The feedback was lackluster, and the people whose opinions really matter to us, James and me, James being the co-host, to those people, we really appreciate your feedback. We know you enjoy the podcast, and if you want to look for us, we're going to be doing bigger, better shit this fall on a different platform and in a different format and with a different name. And I'll give you a link on how to find us, and we got some great shit. We're still going to talk about disc golf, but we're not going to center the discussion around it. For the reasons I just said, like we didn't get much feedback, and we were trying to tackle some issues. We didn't want to keep it PG. I don't want to sugarcoat shit. This isn't like the silicone Disney-fied version of reality on Cellar Dwellers podcast. We're real. Real in the sense that people take shits on disc golf courses sometimes. That shit's real. And that might be uncomfortable for people to talk about. Just like with our fingersmokediscs ad, where the disc had a finger sensor on it and it would inject herpes into the wrong user. I mean, that shit's funny. And I know it might make some people uncomfortable. And to those people, I say, turn the channel. And that's who we are. We want to be a realistic podcast. Now, having said that, I want to say this before I go any further about disc golf analysis, or golf analysis is way different than analyzing any other sport. And I don't want to say any other sport. My wife would kick my ass. When she hears me generalize, she'd just kick my ass. But the majority of sports, and the sports that we know that are common, like let's even go as far as like lacrosse or even tennis. Then we can get to the basics like football, baseball, basketball. These types of sports, you can watch the entire game unfold right in front of your eyes. The difference with golf is you cannot get a legitimate or accurate analysis following every single player for fucking 18 holes. It's impossible. You could never give an accurate analysis unless you had one person assigned to each player and followed them literally for 18 holes. All we have is the scorecard, and then we speculate and use a lot of fun word acrobatics and crazy God, I can't remember what the word is my buddy used, James, the co-host, about, just coming up with these weird imaginative descriptions of golf shots and really just highlighting the good stuff. And that's what golf analysis is. That's what we know golf analysis to be. So having said that, James and me try to take a different approach, and when we come on to do our podcast, you obviously already know who won the latest event, how they did it. There's plenty of coverage out there. There's, the Central Coast, and there's Jomez, and there's a disc golf guy, and there's a ton of people out there who are right on the front lines of Disc Golf Pro Tour. So we try to give you something a little more fun and playful, and something I thought and hoped would motivate you to go out and to play golf. And I think I'm ready. The origin of this podcast was meant to do that.
Yeah. Every moment is golden like a Jill Scott track. Lil Philla on the cut, bringing hip-hop back. Like back in the day when Big L was popping, when they was rhyming in the streets cause they didn't have options. I'm a guest in this house, but I stand my ground. I'll gladly wipe my feet, but I plan to stay around. You can taste the ambrosia, on point like a soldier. Make you weak like pneumonia, get you higher than the Doja. My shit's tight, like your mama in church, or a Portland hipster in his favorite shirt. Every single word I spit is murderous for certain. It's the light inside a shadow, I be burning like a furnace. It's a part of me, but I don't give a flying fuck. If you love this culture, lift your middle finger up. To the real MCs, this is our moment. Always be real and never co-sign bullshit. La da da, this game done changed, but that don't mean you have to. Better come correct when you're with me, or I'll probably cock back and slap you. Everything's a mess, I know that. One day we can break through. La da da, this game done changed, but that don't mean you have to know. No, oh, oh, oh. remember in the 6th grade when the big homie Eric gave me my first Outkast CD, Aquemini. Every song, all the album artwork, everything on there, man. Yeah. Changed my world forever. Yeah. Disaster strikes every time that I climb on a mic. I bust a rhyme and grab a pen, then my mind takes flight. Yeah. There was tribe, there was fight, there was days, there was nights that my brain couldn't sleep, so I threw on a beat. Listening to even Lil' Kim, Biggie, Pac, and Nas, I would soak it all in. Corrupt Lil Roscoe and Daz. I cherish these moments, now I'm mastering the craft. I don't wanna hear hits, I'm gonna hit you with my fists. I don't lie, I just spit, fry the beat like fish and chips. My shit slick, like Rick the Ruler. Flip that pillow over, I'ma give him something cooler. Like this and like that in a bottle of bourbon. The game is getting worse, but I still keep learning. You ever gonna change? Not at all. Forever singing out like la da da. La da da, this game done changed, but that don't mean you have to. Better come correct when you're with me, or I'll probably cut back and slap you. Everything's a mess, I know that. One day we can break through. La da da, this game done changed, but that don't mean you have to know. No.